Let me go back to, and then I have
Okay.
I have a couple of classes.
Okay.
Physique guys,
All right. Well, let's tackle it.
posing, uh, cancel, oops, and select all. Mm,
All right.
Okay, there's
So
some still coming over. Coming
let's
over.
let's just go through these one by one, and
Okay,
you tell me what you did from left to right. Paint the picture here for me.
okay. Who are we starting with?
This, can you see my screen?
Who?
This figure
No,
guy?
I don't see your screen.
That's odd. You see me
Yeah,
now?
I see your face.
Okay.
I
And
see,
I'm,
but I don't see your screen.
see
Yeah, I
this?
just see your hand up.
You don't see my screen. Okay. Well, then we're just gonna have to use your screen. So
No, I don't see your screen.
I'll give you this option to share then, because that's very odd. What if I do this? No pictures?
Let me. Yeah, because you're saying page and response on my browser.
Might be it.
Yeah, because I don't see anything.
Okay, then we'll have
What if
you
I let me
share
try?
your
What
screen.
if I leave the room and come back?
Okay, yeah, we can try that too.
Okay, I can do that.
All
They're
right.
on. Yeah, they're on my phone. I'll just have to. I have to just go to my email then.
Yeah,
Since I
in
sent
the
them to you, I'll just go
yeah,
there.
yeah, we can just, if this doesn't work, you can share through
Shoot.
your screen.
In my Now, how do I share my screen then? I don't see the option to do that.
There is a little green button that says share down at the bottom of the toolbar. Then it'll ask you if
I
you want to
don't see
share.
anything on my.
You see where the chat is? The chat's like three over from it.
I don't even see an option. That's weird.
You don't see an option for chat.
Normally I
Okay.
do, but I don't see it.
I just
Literally
sent
just
you.
see video of you.
Yeah, something's off then. Why don't you leave and come back?
Yeah, let me leave and come back. Okay. Can you hear me?
I can.
All right. Video just.
Let me see
Okay,
if I
so now,
can. Let me see if I can share and you can see it.
yeah, I see all the options as far as the chat and everything now. I didn't before. Yeah, now I can see your screen.
Beautiful. All right. Let me have it. Paint the picture here. How far out? What's the what do you see on the
So,
left? What do you do on the right?
so on the left, I had her like she she pulls her traps up. Like she's very she. So I had her.
Start from the feet up.
Oh, feet up.
Yeah, whenever you do anything like this, always go feet up.
Okay. So her feet were good. She initially at first she was turning her feet out a little bit, so I had her bring her feet together and then
Okay.
push her knees out, push her knee out, and push her hips back a little bit. So her legs were pretty good as far as everything. And then what I had her do is she has issues with her lats, so I had her. She always is kind of shrugging up to get into our lat spread or front spread. So I had her relax her traps and bring those down. So you can see it flattens out. We have a more of a straight line across, and basically sit her arms on her lats. So I kept saying to her, I said, if I put a card underneath your lats, you should be able to hold it with your lats instead of it, because if you elevate your traps, then that card goes, it slides out. So
Yeah. Yeah, I think you did a good job with her. How do you make this more feminine?
I had her relax her hands a little bit more. Not on this one, but like I had her like pinch her finger. I think I learned it from Ashley. Pinch her two fingers or something like that.
Hold a
Just to,
sewing needle.
she's got like yeah, like in the first shot, she's got like these knife hands.
Yeah, she looks like a robot.
Hmm.
She
She
needs to
is.
look dainty. Needs to look
Yes, she is.
feminine.
Hmm.
So that's what she really needs to work on here. I think the knees are probably a tad. Where's the her knees are a tad like she kind of looks like that.
Yours turned out a little. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
more.
We just want her to, and I can tell you her probably her biggest issue, man, because she looks like a person that does this, is she probably squats into this pose. Like she does this like little duck waddle with her knees bent, and then she
Hmm.
gets into the pose. And what she needs to do is she needs to stand straight up, get tall. She can lock out her knees if she wants, and then just break at the knees.
Okay.
Just break at the knees, and they'll just go out naturally. But
Okay.
trying to trying to find the perfect bend is super hard. So just go all the way to locked out and then bend it, then just break them.
Okay. So lock the legs out a little bit more. Stay
Lock them
just
out
tall.
completely and then just unlock them. That's all she has to do. Because you
Okay.
want there to be a bend. That bend is going to accentuate the lines in the quads, but you don't want her to have this like, she just has too much knee bend in both of these. There's too much. So if you get her to do none, could completely zero, and then just do it a tiny bit, it's perfect.
Okay.
It's way easier to tell someone go to 100% and then back off to 95 than to just go straight to 95.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, so have her go hit the upper limit and then pop into it.
And
And then
then
after a
eat.
while, she won't have to do that. But when you're learning, do it that way.
Okay.
All right, and then more feminine. Let's go to the next one.
More
Model
fun.
pose. Okay,
Yeah, her
tell me what's
model
up with
pose.
model pose.
Her model pose. She again issues with her getting her lats out. So I had her like push that back. She just like push the arm out. Well, I guess we'll start with legs. Legs. She could probably straighten her legs out. Straighten her legs out more and be more. And she's like leaning back too. She's leaning back. And then I had her other arm. I had the arm that's out. I had her kind of like pull that around more.
Yeah, because she's over rotating in the left.
Yeah, she's over rotating.
Let's look at Ashley's model pose. I don't know if she had one on here. No, she didn't. I have one over here. Sure.
Now this is also she told me this was her OCD model pose, which I
That's good to know. Uh,
so which I started to dig into that then. So
okay, there we go. Those are the examples. Where is my figure? There it is. Figure model pose. Okay, so a couple different ways to do it. You can do it um, with the bent leg, like she does, or you can do straight leg. Um, you can also go straight arm. You can also go arm out. There's no like right way or wrong way, but it's good to look at every different variation. This looks weird on her.
mm,
This was awkward on her. So we switched it over to this, and it's a bit more of a streamlined, more feminine look.
okay.
Um, so you got to play with a bunch of different ones. You also want to play with the other side. Here's one that's almost like it's very similar to almost like a wellness pose
Yeah,
down
bikini.
here. Yeah, or bikini. But this works as well, especially if they have like really good abs, stuff like that.
Mhm.
Um, that's not a model pose. Um,
I've also
yeah,
seen like both hands on hips, almost like a lat spread
Yeah,
too.
yeah, you can do both hands on hips. This is like an aggressive lat spread. This wouldn't be a model pose, but could be something you do in like um a routine walkout or something like that.
Mhm.
Um, but yeah, not bad on the model pose. Just try a bunch of different ones and pick the one that's going to make her look the most feminine, the most natural. That's what I would be after, and like
Okay.
making the correct shape.
Yeah,
Really
I
look
think
at
the
the
I think I only did the only correction I really did with her there is just to bring that hand in a little bit more and kind of form more of a diamond.
Yeah,
Just
she needs a whole overhaul of her upper body. She's very stiff. She's very
yeah,
much trying to aim. She's trying to aim for a target she doesn't even have because she probably did you guys have a picture of a model pose while you guys were practicing this?
yeah. So the one trainer, you can see in the second picture her back, like she came up and showed a picture of so I actually had two of the leadership team in there like observing that posing session.
Okay.
So you can see they're sitting on the floor.
Yeah. So you had something that you were going off of, and she knew what that looked like too?
Yeah, because Micah
Okay.
came up and she showed it and she kind of demoed it real quick. So
Okay. Yeah, that's a big thing is making sure they have an idea of what they're trying to do. Because if you're just trying to put them in a position that they've never
mhm,
even seen before, it's literally
yeah,
like playing charades or like one of those, family games where you're like doing stuff with your body and people trying to guess it. That's
mhm,
essentially what you do to your client if you're just like, oh yeah, model pose is just like this. And then you just like show it to them and then tell them to replicate it. They're like, what the fuck?
yeah,
They really need to
right.
look at a picture, analyze it, walk up the whole picture with them, feet, knees, hips, torso, head, arms, and
Mhm.
then they try to do it on themselves. Then they put a picture of themselves next to the picture and then and then look at the back and forth and see, okay, what is different? So there's a way to like build this from the ground up very systematically, and it saves you a ton of time.
Okay,
So when you do this, right, get the picture of what you want it to look like, take a picture of her,
right,
put
right.
those things next to each other, and then say, what do we need to do here? Work from
To
the
get
ground
that
up.
right. Okay.
And you will cut the time it takes for you to teach your clients in half. Okay.
So this one I had her just bring her hands in a little bit more and push that back shoulder so we can see. Just kind of rotate a little bit more. She has a tendency to kind of open her hip up. I was trying to get her to like lock her legs and lock the lower leg, like let legs down, hips down, and then rotate, which she kind of opens up a little bit, but really just get that back shoulder and rotate a little bit more. So I figured it was the same thing as like guys get that front nipple basically pointing at the judges.
Yeah, just don't say nipple to them.
Right.
Yeah, she just needs more rotation. Wow, I didn't mean to do that, but that was actually good. She just needs just more. Um, where did my thing go? Figure side. Good. Not enough. Good. Not enough. What do you notice? Dead giveaway. It's the elbows. This elbow's fucking going that way. This elbow's going the other way. It's not
Yeah.
good. Throw hips opened up. It's not good. Throw it away. Terrible pose. This one right here, level, elbows are in the same direction, level, locked out, hips are tracking, beautiful. And then flip them around and do the same thing. You can get them there. They are going to tell you they can't. They're going to say, I can't, I can't,
Uh-huh.
I can't. This is all I got. I can't, I feel tight. They can. It has everything to do with breathing. It has everything to do with just allowing yourself to get there. It has everything to do with disconnecting from limiting beliefs.
Mhm.
If people, the amount of people that come to me say, yeah, I have rotational problems is 9 out of 10. And you know what they usually don't have? Rotational problems. They usually have mental problems
Yeah.
because they just have a mind block. And then once you get them there, or they're flexing too hard, that's another thing. They start
Mhm.
tightening up all their muscles and they freeze. And they're like, I'm stuck. I can't move. And you're
Yeah.
like, well, stop flexing. Okay, good. Now move.
Yeah. They're
Yeah.
just over.
Yeah. So more deep breaths, relaxer. If you're there in person, you can physically turn her and say, look, you're there. You did
Yeah.
it. I made you go there. Now just stay. And she'll stay. And then you say, okay, now do it on your own. And she'll do it on her own. And she'll be like, oh, I can't do it.
And then have them do mobility stuff,
Yeah. I mean,
rotation stuff.
maybe. Because most of the time, people tell me they have rotational problems, and then they get into the thing no problem after I
Mhm.
coach them how to do it properly. And then, like, why do I need to give them rotational exercise if they can do it? I don't. I try to give as few mobility exercises as physically possible.
Okay.
Like, if I can just tell someone to do this, I would rather have them do this. If I could just get someone to just practice unilateral lat spreads to get their lat come out, I would rather
Mhm.
do that. You want to know why?
What is that?
Because they're more likely to fucking do it. If there's not fucking equipment or a thing that they don't have, or they need to hook the band to like a pole, and they don't have a pole, like it's fucking a nightmare. I literally just learned how to rig up a band in my house by slamming in the sliding glass door like 3 weeks ago. I just figured that out. I had no other way to, I just didn't use bands like anchored to anything because I didn't have anywhere to anchor it.
Hmm.
And now I do.
Now you do.
But just give them the bare minimum. Cool.
Got it.
Stagger the feet a little. That'll help her too. Pull the foot back. All right. This will be fun. You don't have to worry about the upper body. Did you even address anything in the upper body?
I did a little bit.
Yeah, I
So
would I
I can
wouldn't
see her.
I
Okay.
wouldn't because it doesn't even matter because her legs are so out of position, it's not going to do anything for her. So
Yeah.
that's how systematic you need to be about stuff like this, where like yeah, you got her to relax the traps, that's awesome, but the pose is still terrible. And it's because the thing that she has to do in the beginning never got done. So
So.
if you were building a house and you were like, dude, you're like showing me these pictures and you're gonna go into like how you like did like really cool stuff with like the windows and how you like pitch the roof and then I'll be like, is the foundation dry?
Mhm.
And you'll be like, oh no, the foundation isn't dry. Like the fucking 2x4s are caving in on themselves, but isn't the roof look really cool?
Yeah.
And I'd be like, no, motherfucker, like this house ain't gonna work. Like I don't care about the roof. I care about the foundation first, you know? Yeah, yeah. So that's how you want to look at these things. Anytime you fix a pose on anyone, it's feet first. You can't go wrong. You can't go
Okay.
wrong with feet because so many things that you fix at feet, knees, hips actually like manifest in the upper body. So that means sometimes when you're working on the upper body and something is like can't fix it, sometimes it's not the upper body. It's the lower body. That often happens in back double biceps, and where people will have like one lat that's a little bit hitched, and you'll be giving them lat exercises. And welcome, Lance. We started. This is like a earlier thing that me and Yo were doing, but welcome. Um, but anyway, what was I saying? Oh yeah, you'll see like they'll have like a little hitch in their lat and their back double biceps. and you'll be trying to focus on that lat, and then you'll go back and review the footage and you won't be successful. And you'll go back and review the footage later that night, and you'll notice they have a hip hike on the same side. And you're like,
Mm-hmm.
fuck. And then you go the next time you're on session with them, you go straight to the hip, you fix the hip, lat fixes itself. So you gotta
Got it.
fix this, you gotta
Foundation.
fix
Yeah.
the thing below.
Okay.
Yeah. And the thing here is she just is like, she's broken at the knees forward instead of broken at the knees out. Watch.
Okay. Yeah. Turned out. Yeah.
So
Yeah. So we.
we want her here, feet together, knees pointing out. That's knees pointing forward, knees pointing out, and just sitting down on those glutes and hams. She's doing like a sit down in a chair type of thing.
Yeah. I see it now. Yeah.
She'll
Yeah.
never be able
And
to
then
tighten her glutes.
yeah, and then there's that gap then too. So it's not a good silhouette.
Give them some, dude, you're there in person in a gym, give them
Mhm.
some, really, give them some pink dumbbells and tell her to do a Romanian deadlift. And then as
Okay.
soon as she breaks it, as soon as she breaks it, like as soon as she starts the exercise, tell her to freeze. Does that make sense?
Okay. Yeah. Break at the hips. Yep.
She's here in her high
Like anterior
heels.
pelt.
Yeah, she's here in her high heels. And you say, okay, you're going to do a Romanian deadlift. And when I tell you to freeze, freeze. Okay, go and start. Do it real slowly. And she'll go and you go freeze. Just,
Yeah.
and her hamstrings will be good. Her hamstrings will be tight. Her glutes will be tight because she knows how to do that exercise more than likely.
Hmm.
If it doesn't work like that, you can even have her go down a little bit and really feel it, and then
Hmm.
pull back up and freeze.
Yeah. Okay.
That's the easier way to do it. Sometimes you can get them right when they break, but
Hmm.
sometimes if you got to go down a little bit and say, okay, feel everything, tighten, 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 freeze.
Okay.
Put them, put them in a situation that is familiar. If she's
Okay. Yeah.
familiar with the Romanian deadlift, then she'll understand how to do this pose a little bit easier. But replicate it, like go give her the pink dumbbells,
Mhm.
make her do it, make her feel the hamstrings, the glutes, the adductors, everything that she's supposed to be feeling in that exercise, and then tell her to freeze position.
Okay. Yeah.
Uh-huh. And then when you teach the upper body for figure, you can do it in the lower body too. Just teach them a lat spread.
Yeah. That's kind of what I did, and I think it's the next picture. So
Um,
there's one, or maybe there should be.
Yeah, it's just this one.
No.
But yeah, dude, just teach them, literally teach them like a bodybuilder's lat spread, and they will. She's pretty good, um, but they'll learn how to like flare their lats without flexing anything, which is
Yeah,
really
that's
important.
kind of what I
Really
had to do.
important.
I don't think I sent that picture over where she did a lat spread. Had her do a lat spread and basically let her go of her hands.
Yeah, good. Okay, so you did do that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So for those of you just joining, I was telling you, whenever you are posing anyone. I asked him right away. I said, "Did you do anything in the upper body?" And he said yes. And I said, "You wasted your time because can't correct anything in the upper body until lower body is taken care of. You have to make sure the foundation is firm. But if you're building a house, you got to make sure the foundation is firm and dry and set before you start putting up the windows and the walls and the fucking skylights. If I told you, if this was a house, right? If he was building a house and he was telling me about all the stuff he did up here, but the foundation was still wet and the fucking walls were starting to cave in on themselves, I really wouldn't care about what he did up on the roof or with the windows. I would be really upset that my house was falling apart. So always address lower body first. Okay, let's go to this one. All right, show me what's up. What were you doing here?
So this one I just had, she's kind of hiding that back shoulder. I had to rotate more and then push that back shoulder forward more and then just bring her hands in more too. That her hand is in the front hand or the back hand, I guess. Backhand was too far forward. So I had her kind of bring both of her hands in more closer together and then rotate more. But as you can see, when she rotates, she opens up her hip.
Yeah, yeah, and
But
she's opening up that hip. Why? Why is that hip
because
opening?
her legs aren't like locked out.
Yeah, that's right. Because the knee's bent, because the foundation is wet,
Mm-hmm.
because and it will all you can't do anything up here until that joint is locked out. Because yeah, it fucks that up and it fucks that up. It's all the way up. It's like
Mm-hmm.
getting an infection. Like if this is damaged all the way up, it's all disaster. So yeah, so lock the knee out. It'll keep, let's look at a good example that we were looking at earlier. Okay, so this is an example here, guys. This is the bad example over here on the right. Okay, we got a break in the knee. We got an open hip. Over here, we got a locked knee and we got a closed hip. Now, this happens because they think everyone has one side that they can't rotate on as well. Like we know that, but majority of people can still do the pose correctly. Like just because you have a little bit of a rotation deficit on one side, just because you're naturally just patterned to move in one direction because you're right-handed and you've been throwing a ball across your body and reaching across your desk, like you're just biased to move in that direction. So yes, but usually most people can still make it all the way around
Mm-hmm.
without like being totally blocked. But usually they have a mental block up here, like I can't, like my rotation's no good. So they're already like have this self-fulfilling prophecy that they're going to be blocked. And then they have all these compensation patterns that start to arise because they know that they're blocked. So if they know they're blocked, they bend their knee because they know if they bend their knee, they can access a little bit more rotation because it opens the hip. And so the whole thing just it messes itself up. Um, but the majority of people can get here, and helping them get there with like tricks like the broomstick, stuff like that helps a bunch. Also, what would help her is, do you see this diamond shape right here?
Yes.
Like if we look at the diamond emoji, like on call, like where's my emojis? Oh, right here. This emoji, I do this on my story all the time. I'll literally take the diamond emoji and I will put it, I'll take a snapshot of their photo and I'll put the diamond emoji on top of their body.
Yeah.
And I'll
That'll help.
say, make your arms do the outline of the diamond. And they'll go, oh. And then I'll take it one step further and I'll make them go back to the front pose. And usually when I do this, I'm doing it with guys, but works for the figure ladies too. But you show them a front lat spread and say, do you see the diamond? And
Mm-hmm.
they'll go, oh, I see the diamond. And then take your hands off your hips and do the figure front pose or the men's, front relax. Say, do you still see the diamond? And they'll see the diamond. And then you turn to the rear and you show them the back pose. And in the back pose, you tell them, see the diamond. They say, I see the diamond. And then it
Yeah.
all starts to click
Mm-hmm.
because the most important thing, especially when you're coaching a new person, is you want to make sure that that you explain things in the most simple terms, and using pictures is a great way to, number one, show them the target, right? What is the pose supposed to look like? If your client, Jesse, welcome. If your client doesn't know what the pose is supposed to look like, you have to stop, right?
Mhm.
You can't shoot. If you can't see the target and you're shooting a gun, you can't shoot the gun if you can't see the target, because then you're just shooting anywhere. You're not going
Yeah.
to hit anything. So number one, right off the bat, you have to show them what perfect looks like. Once they know what perfect looks like, then they can actually try and get there.
Mhm.
And on their journey to try and get there, show them, like, do the emoji thing, make it simple, tell them make a diamond shape, or the RDL that we talked about in the back post, do an RDL, assimilate the information to something that they are already familiar with, and then it makes the learning process so much easier. Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely.
Cool. I think that was good. Um,
Hey,
Yeah.
Daniel, before you
yo.
go on to the next picture, I have a question on these quarter turns.
Hmm.
And this applies for men and I guess women in this case too. I'll see a lot of times when people open up the hips like that or just almost over rotate, like, or even they may rotate correctly, but the tricep like disappears and on that right arm. Um, would it be correct in the case of this figure girl? I know it's correct for the men to have her bring that elbow towards the camera.
Yeah.
Even her, like her triceps still like kind
Yeah,
of
it's kind of going that way. Yeah, she could afford to pop the shoulder toward me.
okay. I just want to know if it was appropriate still for figure. I knew it was for men, but I wanted to check for figure.
Yeah, as long as it doesn't take away from like the femininity, if that's a word, the feminineness of the
Yeah.
pose, that's good. Like this girl that we're looking at, she doesn't have a feminine look to her right now. And it's not because she's not a feminine woman, it's just because her body parts are organized in a very clunky way. So if it takes away from the like daintiness, the girliness of the pose, then you don't want it.
Okay, thanks.
Cool. That was good. Yo, thank you for bringing those. We'll do more of yours, but I don't want to take away from. Yeah, let's do another one. Where did you send those? All right, what was your other one you sent?
They're
Stacy.
different emails.
Should we do
So that
Nick or should we do more figure? We're doing a shit ton of
so
figure.
Stacy Black, what this is the girl that won her show. So this is
All right, let's do more figure. Okay, what do we got?
so here I had her. I mean, her legs were good. I had her bring her feet in a little bit, like touch her toes, like she just kind of spread out. So I
Yeah,
started with foundation here, and then I had her kind of just push her shoulder. She kind of has a neutral shoulder position in the first picture. I kind of had her push her lats forward a little bit more in the second one.
yeah, she's got some wild delts.
She does
That's fucking crazy.
for a
Why is there so
natural.
much muscle on them? Okay. All right. Yeah, I see what you mean. The chest is up a bit. It doesn't, let's see what she looks like from the rear. Yeah, I mean, there's not a lot of lat to flare,
No,
if that makes sense. She looks like she's very stiff in the upper body. Is she? Is she pretty stiff or is she pretty mobile?
she's pretty mobile. That was her first session. The second one, she kind of loosened up a little bit because I had her literally. I find with figure clients, I mean, you literally have like four poses, so we just go through rounds, and just each round she would get loosened up more. So, and
Yeah.
that was the first time she had been posing on her own for 6 months, just watching videos. So when she posed with me, that was the first time she posed in front of anyone.
Okay.
So
Yeah, I mean, not bad for a beginner. Definitely ahead of the gal that we just saw. Um,
Yeah.
Again, the thing that's missing here that you can easily obtain is the daintiness,
Yeah.
right? Is making this pose look feminine. The easiest way to do that is sewing needle between the thumb and either the middle finger or ring finger and just give them that very dainty, feminine, water dripping off the hand look.
Okay.
She has a pretty decent diamond shape, so I think you did well there. We turn her to the side. Okay, what do you got?
So I had her.
This was her thinking that's as far as she could go, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And then you were able to get her here.
Yep.
Okay.
Got
So
her.
that's exactly what I was just talking about before is so often we'll have a client that will say, I have rotation problems. You'll give them a pose where they have to rotate, and their mind is so fixed on the fact that they are so stuck that there's nothing you could possibly do. And then all of a sudden you move them 6 inches further than they've ever been before, and they go, oh.
Yeah.
But where we make mistakes as posing coaches is we see that and we go, oh, you need all these rotational exercises. You need to do all these mobility exercises. Guys, I told you this earlier, and it'll be on the recording too, but it's important. Try to give as few mobility exercises as physically possible. And the ones that you do give, try to make sure there's as few tools or like bands or anything that's needed. Like today, I literally told the guy to stand there and practice doing this for his back double bicep. And guess what? He opened right up. It was fantastic. He was like, "Oh yeah, my shoulder, like I need to do mobility." And we literally just sat there and did that for like 30 seconds, opened right up, no problem. Um, and the reason you want to do that, the reason you want to do minimum effective dose or none, if like in a perfect world they don't have to do any. The reason you do that is because then they'll actually do them, right? This is way easier for someone to do than to rig up a band in their house and do all these fucking exercises that they have to watch on a video that you sent them and they have to set it all up and it's just not going to happen. Give them the minimum effective dose. Okay, so decent here. The knee bend is the only thing that's probably selling that pose super short. It's everything else about it is decent. She can definitely get taller. She can make the diamond shape a little bit more pronounced. She has the arm length to be able to do that. This is another one where I would take that diamond emoji, snap a story, put that diamond right there, and make this shape. Uh, Good. Let's see your other side. Same thing.
Yeah. Got her to
Okay.
rotate.
So she has tons of rotation available. So you probably blew her mind on that. But the big issue we see here is the hip opened up.
Yeah, that one. That side, the hip open.
Yeah, the hip open. She's bending this knee now on the far end. So she's bending that far knee, dipping the pelvis, and then moving it around. Do you see that?
Yeah.
She's dipping this knee and then swooping the pelvis around to get more rotation through the upper body. So you got to block her. You got to make her knees straight.
Mhm.
You got to
Okay.
keep her hip. You got to keep her hips facing the side of the stage. And then this is where you could take a broomstick very, very easily. And like you're standing there behind her, have her hold that broomstick, and you just, with your hand, just bring that broomstick and rotate her around.
Yeah. Okay.
And then have her just stand there for a while. She's almost
Got it.
there.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then once you're in the right shit, and you guys are probably like wondering, like, well, what about our midsection? Shit like that. Uh, don't worry about it right now. Like, if people aren't in the right shape, if they don't make the correct outline, you're wasting your time thinking about them activating their quads or what they should be doing with their abs or like you're wasting your time because it doesn't matter if if the pose is shaped incorrectly, then you're not doing a good job. Your ultimate goal is to make sure that they create like if there was just like they were just a figure like on a whiteboard or something like a shadow, like you just want them in this nice, perfect position. And you know what perfect positions are because we define them. We've defined that we have them all over our school resources, right? So when I want to see perfect figure poses, I come straight over here to Ashley's presentation that's in the um, under figure posing. I come right
Yeah.
here and I go look at her resource. I'm talking to everyone. And I go right to the back pose. I look at it from the front, I look at it from the rear, I look at it from the side. And if my girl doesn't look like that, then I got to fix something. And you fix things by going feet, knees,
Yeah.
hips, torso, head, arms. You go in that order. You build poses in that order. You assess poses in that order. If something, if like if I tried to fix this pose over here and the first thing I did was start moving her upper body, I'm wasting my time because the first I got to go to the feet first and then I go to the knees up and then I see where the problem is.
Yeah.
You can always find the problem if you just go feet, knees, hips,
Mhm.
torso, head. And a lot of people guys, sorry, not sure that like a lot of people don't that are new to posing or the people that you're going to coach, they don't they don't understand that the poses need to be done in a certain order. And if anyone on the call right now doesn't know that the poses need to be done in a certain order, they do. You got to go feet,
Feet,
knees,
knees,
hips,
hips,
torso,
torso,
head.
head.
Let me see where Lance is. He fell off. Okay. All right. Any questions about that? If you guys have any questions while we're going over this stuff, just interject.
Yeah, that was good.
All right, let's keep going. Let's go to our back pose. This isn't bad as far as the lower body. That's a decent position for her to be in. That's like, do you see the Romanian deadlift position here versus that other one that we looked at?
Yes.
Because if we go back to that other lady, um, where was that? This one?
Yeah.
So she's not even close compared to that other
Right.
gal,
Yeah.
right? She's trying to do like some kind of weird squat thing. She doesn't really know what she should be doing. That's why I said for her, make her recreate something that she does probably on a pretty regular basis, or a Romanian deadlift. Have her mimic that with some pink dumbbells, and then freeze her in the spot that she's supposed to be in. For those of you, Lance, yeah, I'm sorry, man. I didn't mean to kick you out. I was saying like you're welcome to hang out with us early. All right, let me go back to these. All right, and we covered those. Let's go to Nick. Oh, this is Nick Whaley?
Yeah.
Nice. You should be pretty good.
Uh,
He's a pretty good poser. Oh, I didn't mean to do that.
yeah. I have more. I just there was only once I sent. I think I just sent the older ones.
Yeah, we gone through these before?
Yeah, we pose every week. We do. We basically do check-ins with each other every weekend. So we pose
Even
each
Nick
other.
do?
Yeah, Nick and I. Yeah,
Good. That's good.
I should send the recent ones.
Okay. There's not a lot to talk about there. I want to see some of your beta clients. Nick was a
Yes, Tim's my newest client.
Evan.
Tim.
Oh,
I guess you can say Evan's a beta client. He's a trainer, so he's free posing. He's one of the trainers, so I offered free posing for the trainers.
let's see what this guy's got. So this guy's totally new.
Yeah, pretty new. He's competed once before, but it's been a while.
What made you have him just keep his shoes on?
He just did. He just felt more comfortable.
Well, word of wisdom here. You're in charge. And if you want to teach somebody the right way, like tell them like we're going to do it the right way. If tell them like get some boxers or whatever, or yeah, just like it's hard. It's hard to teach something if the conditions aren't what they would normally be. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
It kind of becomes like I mean, I don't know how intense this session was or how focused it was, but like to me, this guy just like doesn't really look serious. And it's gonna be it'll be more challenging for you. Um, yeah, has he ever competed before?
yes, he's competed twice.
Okay. What was probably the yeah, okay. So we were talking about some things earlier. I'm gonna hit some of the points here. Um, this is decent, right? But again, it doesn't make a ton of sense to do much in the upper body until you can get this nailed.
The legs, yeah.
It's too much to think about, especially in one session. For a brand for like, I mean, I know it's not brand new, but like for someone that shows you this, you got to do like a total overhaul, right? Because he's just like kind of missing the mark here. And so this is again where I would break out a picture of what a good rear relaxed looks like. And I'd be like, okay, this is what we need to get to. And then let him look at that and try to replicate it himself
Oh, yeah,
first.
right.
And then go through and make the tweaks from feet, knees, hips, torso, head, arms. So I think your process for how you start like posing these guys, how you your strategy, I think that's just something that need like your own personal like checklist. I think you need to kind of develop that a little bit further. Does that
Okay.
make sense?
Yeah, it does. I mean, the big thing I'm getting is to have before well, normally, typically, what I have them do is just like, okay, just hit it the way that you know how to hit it, and that's the first thing I have them do, and that's how I capture the before, and then after that, I basically should start from the ground up, then basically, which I kind of am when I'm teaching it to them, but it makes more sense to have like the right picture and then have them try to replicate it. Then I can make tweaks.
Yeah,
Then,
because if you just like try to put him in the position or just say, oh no, it just needs to look like this, like you know what it's supposed to look like. I
yeah,
know what it's supposed to look like. But you can tell in the first like 2 seconds when someone hits a pose that they have no fucking clue. They may have done it, they may have seen it on Instagram 1,000 times, but they've never actually looked at a person doing this pose and looked at the feet and looked at the knees and looked at the hips and looked at the torso and looked at the head and looked at the arms and then they never tried to replicate it. They've just tried this is recall. When a guy hits his side chest like that, he's recalling what he saw somewhere one time. So his picture is blurry. There's
right,
parts of that picture that are missing. You know, like in Back to the Future where Marty starts disappearing, like his family
yeah,
starts disappearing on the photo. That's essentially what this guy has in his mind is he has a blurry photo of a side chest with the fucking legs missing. Like he knows what the upper body looks like. Of course he does. He probably does that every night before he gets in the shower. But the lower body, he's got no clue. He's just kind of guessing. So you
Hmm.
show him that picture, have him replicate it, and then you can go through and make these tweaks. And then also, again, don't even tell them like they'll be so anxious to. They're everyone's always like so excited to do the arms. The arms are everyone's like they always want to do the arms. Put them through a whole session where they don't even move their arms, where like they just stand there in each pose, but they're only posing the lower body.
Like, yeah,
And then they'll learn it faster. It'll seem weird. They'll be like, well, that's just weird, but they'll learn it faster. And then it saves you a ton of time and it saves everyone a ton of frustration because you're making this very complex thing. Side chest is fucking complex, dude. There is so many elements to a side chest. In my ebook, it's like 4 pages long of text of how to do the side chest. That's that's insane, dude. But if you break it all down into little steps, into a checklist, one by one, then you can literally look at the checklist and just go, okay, okay,
boop, boop, boop,
okay.
yeah.
Yeah,
Mhm.
look, I watch mastery. Where's my ebook? Uh, free got like when I wrote this thing, at first I just wrote them all on PDFs, just one after another, like how to do the pose, and then I put them all together into this. But like it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, so 6 steps. I guess not that many steps, but if you just go through and teach them all of those steps, literally in that order, they'll hit the pose perfect every time. But so many people they start with 5 and then they start fucking with 3 and then 2 and 1 come last. And it's like, no, man, do number 1. Okay, done. Now do number 2. Okay, done.
Yeah,
Now do number 3. Okay. It's that simple. And if you're able to get your clients to just do it like that, it saves you so much time and you get such a better product. Okay. Yo, good job.
thank you.
Other Joe, no, not other Joe. Joe, we have Yo and Joe. Joe, do you have any photos for me?
Not from this week. Both my clients were away. I'm waiting on the new
Oh,
betas to come
oh,
in.
yeah, yeah. But we got you some new ones, right?
Yeah, I'm just waiting for them to respond and set something up.
Okay. All right. I'm happy about that. Yeah, get on their ass. If you need my help, let me
Yeah.
know. Steve, you got
All
any
right.
photos for me?
Yeah, I probably got a couple. You can throw them in the chat.
Cool. And then, if you don't mind, Steve, I have some photos that I want you to review.
Okay.
Cool. Where should we start here? Big boy.
Yeah. There wasn't too much to change in the lower body, but the upper body kind of have him bring his shoulders forward, just forward, kind of around, and then bring the arms away from the body a little bit.
Yeah,
I feel like the shoulders definitely look wider up top.
it's lats. It's popping the lats out.
Yeah.
It's popping the lats and letting those lats drive the arms forward and just trying to like get everything closer to the camera. Back here, he's like, yeah, you saw it correctly. He's kind of cocked back. He's kind of compressing himself because he thinks most muscular. And when guys think most muscular, they think flex really hard and condense yourself into a small ball, when in fact it's actually get big, pop the lats out, take up as much space as possible, and get as close to the judges as possible. This kind of stuff right here, like this is another way to say this is like this is posing too hard, and this is posing the perfect amount. When you see guys grimace and like you can already tell, like, I mean, most muscular are kind of supposed to do that, but any other pose, if there's if they're making a face where it seems like they're applying a lot of effort, like this is not very much, but like some guys are like, no, 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 no. Like posing should be not be like the gym. That's why I don't even like people posing in the gym, because everything that's associated with the gym is fucking loud and intense and progressive overload. And posing is so the opposite of that. Posing is like a yoga studio setting. Like you want to be chilled the fuck out. But yes, good job. Those are the small details. Yeah, there wasn't much to do in the legs. There's really literally only one thing to fix about this entire shot, and Steve got it. Well done. That's how you do that. You find every flaw, you fix them all one by one, going from feet, knees, hips, torso, head, and then fix the thing. All right, what's up here?
He's slightly pinching his shoulder blades together. So I just kind of had him like roll his shoulders forward a touch. Lower body's not bad there. He can maybe get a little bit more knee bend, just rotate the knees out a little bit. But
This is where a picture comes in. This
yeah,
is where a picture just like uh, picture just like this is super, super important for that guy to see. You see the difference, like the where the feet are, where the knees are, how much of the lateral quad is visible. It's 10 times different than where this guy's at, right? We can't barely see hardly any. I mean, he's at a weird angle, but we can't see much of the lateral quad. There's hardly any bend in the knee. He needs like a total overhaul on the back pose, and or like on the lower body. And like he's big. He's probably looks like he's a big dude. I posted about this the other day. People in their off season do not want to bend their knees. I'm one of them. I don't like fucking bending my knees in my off season either. I don't know why. I think it's like the inflammation that is just in your body. Just like that's my only guess. Like you just are resistant to bending your knees. But I guarantee you, you show them one picture of what I showed you with this. Doesn't have to be this one, it can be anyone. And you put it next to them, they're gonna go, "Oh, I get it." And then boom, it's going to click, and then you can go hit upper body. Yes, this is a good spot. Chest is up, head is back, not pinching in the lats. Just people want to flex. He wants to flex. I can tell he's flexing because he's flexing his wrists. You tell them you are paralyzed from the elbow down. You close the hand, but you're paralyzed. Everything's neutral. When they start doing this, that's when you know they're flexing the forearms, they're flexing all their shit. And they're gonna doesn't like it doesn't do you any good on stage to flex your forearms. If anything, it just takes away from energy.
yeah.
Just turn them off. But overall, nice. I'm on a roll tonight, guys. I had a 4 o'clock cup of coffee, which is not typical. All right. Would love to see the feet, but they look fine. Knees are locked.
They were in the picture. I probably just when I was putting it together, I should have just slid it up more.
Yeah,
But
it looks fine. The biggest thing is like if they mess up the feet, they mess up the feet by a lot, right?
yeah,
But usually it's their feet are fine. Where the majority of people fall short on this pose is right here. is that knee gets broken, and then like I told it's like an infection. If the knee breaks, everything up the chain is fucked. Um, I think this is pretty damn good. I can tell this guy right now, he's an over poser. He doesn't know what the fuck to do with his forearms. He is so confused on what to do with the hands. And the easiest thing for you to do is do the diamond thing.
Yeah.
Put
I
the
I
diamond.
sent I sent him like a picture of a good one. Um, and he still it got a little bit better, but he was still struggling. And
You
like you
can
can see,
broomstick him too.
yeah, you can see like that back wrist, like his left wrist. He just like it looks kind of wonky, what
He's
he's
ne-
doing with it.
he's in his head. He's literally he's trying to figure out what he needs to be doing with his hands, and it goes to further validate everything I think about this whole thing, where everyone wants to do the arms. I was talking about that. They always want to do the arms. Everyone thinks the arms is the number one thing. It's the first thing they move. When they do a front double biceps, they can't wait to fucking throw their arms up there, drill into their head. It's the last fucking thing that you even address. It's an afterthought. The arms just come in at the end and just kind of put the bow on it. And so, like, the way I do it currently, like to like really emphasize it, is I'll do the whole pose. I'll get all the way rotated, all the way open like this, and then I'll literally just drop my arms. Boom. And I'll
Yeah,
say, "Do you see the diamond?" And they'll say, "I'll see the diamond." And I say, "Good, do it." But yeah, he's an over poser. He's in his head about his arms. He just needs to chill. You'll get him. He needs reps. And you guys are probably wondering, like what about the abs? Don't care. Don't care. He's not even lean enough to care about the abs. All we care about is the shape that he is making on that black screen. Good stuff, Steve. You guys don't know that Steve's actually going to be taking over this call soon because he's really fucking good at this. All right, tell me what's up here.
so that back leg is way too bent. Um, and I just think he's kind of squatting too much into it. So I had him kind of straighten the back leg a little bit. I typically teach like just break the knee just a little bit. That's typically the way I teach it. And there wasn't a ton to change in the upper body, but obviously, like you said, you want to look at the legs first. Um, and I mean, it ended up giving him more of a hamstring drop, even though that ankle's not even as high.
Mhm.
So I think it was definitely a lot better.
So as this ankle gets higher, this is going to get better.
Right.
Yep. Yeah, that's another thing too, guys. Like if even if the pose isn't perfect, right? Like if you don't have this isn't a perfect side chest. Like there's that definitely needs to be a higher foot. But there's still a lot that you can learn from it. There's a lot that your client can learn from it. So don't be like I kind of like psych myself out sometimes when I'm sending side by sides to clients because I see something in a picture and I'm like, okay, hey, look, I want to show you this. And I show it to them and but they don't quite understand posing at the level that I do. So they still think the before looks better. And I'm like, okay, man, I gotta explain this to you now. So don't be worried about that kind of stuff. Like if you like just educate them, right? And you can say like, hey, like this is a damn good side chest. We're not quite there yet, but I like where this is. I like the position of this back leg, and that's what I want you to see. Now, this next time we're gonna do it, I want you to get that heel as high as you can, and then you just do another one. Good. Pop quiz. What are the two things you can do with your Steve? You can't answer. What are the two things that you can do with your abdominals in the side chest? Two
Run
words.
vacuum.
Good job. Crunch and vacuum. Crunch is like with an asterisk because it's you don't want to like crunch and like actually like shrink down the pose, but it's like a tighten, activate. I would have taken that word too. But yes, crunch, I've definitely used that term many times. I use that in the side relax too sometimes, and I go like, okay, it's not really a crunch, it's like just to activate. Nice. All right, what do we got here?
Yeah, he was kind of bringing the elbows too far forward, so he's losing like a little bit of the arm and stuff. I felt like potentially the hips were like a little bit too far shifted. So
Yeah.
yeah, it was like very slight, but I just kind of pulled him back to center a little bit, and I told him that I mean his elbows should be kind of level with where his shoulders were. Um, and I mean I feel like overall it made the pose a lot better.
I think the pose is better. What I'm happy with is, yeah, like there's definitely improvements to be made in the hips so that we don't have the thigh gap. But the fact that I can see his lateral legs now, his
Hmm.
lateral quads, this means his knees are turned out. So his lower body, his back double is impressive. I thought it was going to be just like his rear relaxed, which was far off. So when you see things like this, you can do things in reverse. So like after I would have fixed this pose on him, the next thing I would have done is been like, okay, go back to that back double, and then I would have slowly worked him from back double it back into rear relax and get him to have legs that are similar like this. Obviously, you have to push the foot up, but
Yeah,
I'd want him to see just how similar his back double biceps pose is and from the lower body down how similar that needs to be to his rear relax. And then you might be able to get another win like really, really quick.
yeah,
So that's what I would do there. Yeah, with his elbows, he's doing this almost like he's doing a front double.
yeah,
So a front double, you do want to tilt those elbows a little bit forward so you can pose down to the judges.
right.
He needs to go elbows back
Yeah,
here. He needs to stretch them out to the sides of the room. He just needs to understand, that the arm isn't going to look as good when it has this angle to it. If he gets it
yeah,
all the way flush, then we're going to be looking straight at his bicep instead of his bicep at a 45-degree angle. And the
right.
easiest way to do this is just get one of your back doubles that's really good, where you're, straight across and then show him that.
Yeah, I can definitely do that.
Yep. All right. Do we have another one on that?
I There might have
No,
been
that
one
was
more
it.
in his thing. I can't remember.
No, that was it. Okay,
Okay.
cool. We're gonna take a 5 minute pee break because I've been going for an hour and 15 minutes. I started a little earlier with Yo. Take a 5 minute pee break, and then I got some photos from another one of our students, and I'm gonna have Steve walk us through them. All right, take 5. Oh my gosh, I have to pee so know when you guys are ready.
Yeah, I'm good whenever.
Cool. Dude, I have been inspired by Mr. Beast, and I'm gonna start doing some Mr. Beast style YouTube videos.
Well,
So I'm gonna
you gonna like give away 10K if someone can hit a back double bicep properly?
no, I'm thinking, so this is my first one I'm thinking is I have 24 hours to teach someone who's never posed before, like a brand new person, like new to the gym. Like maybe they've been training for a while, but they have no idea what they're doing on stage. So I have 24 hours to pose them, and then they go head to head in 24 hours with someone like you, like an IFBB pro. And then we have the posing games guys actually judge the face off,
Nice.
and we do just posing judging, right? Just like how they
Yeah.
do it. And then if if the guy wins, if the newbie beats you, which I think he would, because I would train him so good, then he wins like, I don't know, I'll give him like $1,000 or something,
Yeah.
right? But if you win, then you get to like name like an embarrassing like thing that me and him have to go do.
Okay.
Like
Nice.
we have to go do some shit on the strip or something.
You
And then we film that.
could be
Yeah,
like
so
Elvis. You can dress up like Elvis or whatever and like walk down the
yeah,
strip.
yeah, whatever it is. All right, if you guys are ready, give me a just turn on your mic and turn it off real quick. Okay, we're good. All right, cool. Give me some sort of signal. All right, Steve, you're on your phone. Is this if I share I sent them to you, but if I share my screen, will you be able to see them?
Yeah.
Okay. So, oh yeah, I had this guy today. I don't know if you guys saw him at the Detroit Pro, but it was like real late at night. So obviously the stomach's a little distended, but yeah, that's what he was doing in Detroit, and that's what we got him to today. So he's doing
Nice.
FIBO. Yeah,
Did
pretty
did he
cool.
reach out to you or did you reach out to him?
Yeah, he reached out to me. That's cool.
Perfect.
All right. So this is from one of our other coaches. He's in Europe, but he's asleep right now. So pretend I'm him in the corner.
Okay.
What would you
So,
tell me about these poses here?
well, normally like you ask them like I guess what they did, to achieve that on the right. So, what did you do? What changes did you make on him?
Oh, just assess it. Like we don't have to have the
Oh, okay.
conversation, but just
My bad.
talk to me like I'm him, right?
Yeah.
Like right off the bat, like the first thing I'd tell him is like, honestly, I like the left one better,
Yeah. Yeah, I
and
think he's
then
kind of hunched over a little bit too much on the right. I would have him kind of stand a little bit taller through the chest cavity. I do think he can get a little bit more out of those quads too. Like I
so
think I
can
probably would have started with that. Probably would have seen like how much quad activation he can really get before I even worried about the upper body. Um, I think potentially on the left, it looks like his left quad's activating pretty much all the way, and the right one probably could, but I think the left knee is bending a little bit more. So I would probably match that to see if you get the separation. Um, and yeah, I mean, like I said, I would turn him. I would just have him stand a little bit taller. Um, I see what he's trying to do on the right, like obviously get a nice diamond shape with the front relaxed. Um, I just don't think he got what he wanted to out of it. But this would be a good way for you to send like a picture of a right pose. Um, and yeah, I mean, as far as like quad activation goes, like just talking more on that, like this is someone I would also turn sideways just to see how far back their hips are. But yeah, that's what I would tell them.
Yeah, I would agree with a lot of the things that you said there. Um, if it was especially to like a first time client, and I saw that he was having a little bit of trouble with quad activation, not really sure what to do. The first thing I'd have him do is take off his socks. So that's where I would start, is I'd have him take the socks off. And then yeah, I would go all lower body. And whenever we assess these poses, right, we go always feet, knees. It seems like his knees is where a bit of the problem is too, is where they're kind of bent, but they're not really being forced out. The hips aren't being forced out. So he just doesn't really, and it's over here too, he doesn't really quite understand um, what's supposed to be happening here. So yeah, a picture would be good. He's doing a really good job of flaring the lats. Um, Teaching the front lat spread here is also not a bad idea. If you taught a front lat spread right here, you wouldn't have such a sad front relax. Like this is like it's like sloping down. It's kind of sad. It's kind of melting. When you do a front lat spread, you're up and lifted up. And that's the position you want to be in, a front relax too. Good. All right, Steve, let's go to the next one. Do me a favor. I know it's tempting when there's a big glaring kind of flaw, to go straight to that immediately. Do me a favor, be super disciplined and show these guys how we analyze the poses and go feet, knees, hips, torso, head, arms. It just makes the problem solving process so much easier.
Okay. All right. So it looks like he did remove his socks here, which is good. Knees are not locked out pretty good. Um, can't tell if the feet are actually touching though. So I'd probably ask him like, are you sure those feet were touching? Um, it might not be bad to just mention it to him next time. But I mean, the feet look, they're in the right position. The knees are locked out, the glutes activated. And then obviously at that point, you would go towards the upper body. Um, it looks like maybe he brought him around a little bit more, but I think he can still get a little bit more out of it. It looks like maybe that front trap is hiked up, the left one, a little bit activated there. I'd kind of have him relax it. I'd really have him bring that left elbow around to the direction he's looking. That cue works pretty good for me. Um, but yeah, overall, it's really not a bad pose. It's like kind of on the way to being like where it needs to be. But it's really like if I saw this on stage, I wouldn't look and be like, oh wow, like this dude's like doing this super bad, you know?
Yeah. And like this would be his hands right here, if we're talking about the guy that you had before,
Yeah.
this would be a great picture, even though this isn't perfect. This would be a great picture to show that guy you had before of like, see this guy's hands, how they're just kind of an afterthought?
Mm-hmm.
Do it like that. I'll tell you, the first thing I saw when I looked at this photo is he's engaging the abs. And I don't need him to engage the abs. That's another thing on top of this other fucking huge list of shit I'm having him remember to do. So this is just an unnecessary thing. He doesn't need to crunch his abs. Just stop it. Cut it out. We're not there yet. We got to get you in the pose first correctly, and then you're allowed to flex. But literally put him on probation. Like you're not allowed to flex until you get the position right. Once you get the position right, then you're allowed to flex. But until you can prove that you can get into this diamond shape right now, then you got to turn that off. And they'll go, okay. But that creates a lot of issues because he's probably blowing out. He's probably holding his breath. He's That's why he's probably has his head up like that, because he's stiff.
Yeah.
Let these guys chill. Okay, cool.
All right. So uh this I would say is definitely his worst side. Um it does look like, just working from the ground up, I can tell that his feet before were level, which obviously they need to be slightly staggered. So it looks like he did stagger the feet correctly. The knee was locked out before; it's still locked out. Um, he is getting a little bit more rotation out of him, which is good. It's still kind of the same thing, just a little bit worse here. That shoulder's hiked up. Like you say, he's probably tensed everything too hard. Um, so yeah, I mean this picture more so than the last one would be really good for like a broomstick, just because the hands are not level. So I think having like a broomstick there would help him. That should level out the hands easily. You just have him hold like a broomstick, twist around, and then just make sure the broomstick's level. And I think maybe a lot of those issues probably would be fixed.
Yep. The broomstick would help level out the hands, which would help level out the elbows, which would help level out the shoulders. One
Yeah.
thing that I'll often do in session with like with people like this is I'll take the draw function on my phone and I'll draw a red line through the shoulders, a red line through the elbows, a red line through the wrists. And then I'll draw a green line where it's supposed to go through the shoulders, a green line where it's supposed to go straight through the elbows, and a green line where it's supposed to go straight toward the elbows. And then you just tell them, make all the red lines green, and they'll just pop right into it. I have a picture to help illustrate that a little bit more.
All I have is pictures of red lines, but
I might have a green one somewhere. Let me look real quick. Just gotta go to my examples. My bad examples. If you guys don't have, I guess I should be sharing my screen. Gatekeeping. God damn it. All right. If you guys don't have a Google Drive with good poses, I should probably rename these, but I have great examples and I have incorrect poses. I don't know why I named it that, but I have all these poses that are performed poorly. Where is side relaxed? And I use these for educating my clients. Yeah, here's uh, red lines. But I use them for educating people, but I also use them for reels. Like I use bad photos more than I use good photos because I can use them as teaching points. But the bad photos that I've saved on my phone from client sessions have made me more money than the good photos, the after photos. The money is in the before photos because the before photos is what everyone on Instagram relates with. They all suck at posing too. So if they see other people sucking at posing, they'll feel comfortable. They'll be like, oh, it's okay. And this guy can help me. This guy won't make me feel bad for not knowing. So I post all the terrible shit because it gets me clients. But I would do something like this and I would say, make all of those parallel with the ground. Make all those go to 90 or 0, whatever it is. All right, cool. All right. Steve, let me get back to the photos. This is the third Zoom call I've had to eat a meal on. Sorry, guys. Just called being a bodybuilder. All right, and go. I think you're on mute.
sorry about that. Yeah, I was on mute. So looking at the after picture, I mean, I do see more hamstring glute activation. I think he looks like he also had him pull the trunks up a little bit. Um, I would be curious if those heels are lined up because they look a little bit offset. Um, so I'd want to ask him about that. And then the legs are just kind of too straight up and down. He still needs to get a lot more knee bend out of this guy and a lot more knee rotation out of him too. The upper body doesn't look too bad though. I mean the back's pretty thick. This guy does have a really thick back, but the head looks like it's up. It looks like he did tell him to raise the head up, so that's a good thing. But yeah, most of the things that still need to happen here is in the lower body.
Yeah, I totally agree. I love what he did with the back. This
Yeah,
is fucking great.
he's got a really good
This,
back.
yeah, this was like if he just breaks at the knees, and he's probably gonna have to bring his feet in a little bit so he doesn't have a thigh gap. But he's like 90% of the way there. And then after he nailed this, I would go straight to back double biceps
Yeah,
because he has a lot of good momentum here. He knows how to contract his hamstrings, his glutes. He's looking good. He got a win right here. He just needs to bend his knees a little bit and then go straight to a back double or a back lat and stack wins on top of each other. All right. I think we got one more guy. Whoa. Looks like he shrunk in size.
Mhm.
Let's see what you can do with that.
Yeah. I'd be curious why he brought the feet in. I don't know if they really needed to. There wasn't a thigh gap, but I mean, I would get a little bit more knee bend out of this guy. Um, it looks like his knees are still locked out. I mean, he does have big quads, but they're not really separating as much as they could. So I'd like to see a little bit more knee bend. I'd like to make sure the hips were back. Um, I see what he's doing on the right. He's trying to get that nice diamond shape. Um, it's not bad, but he still needs to. It still needs a little bit of work there.
Yeah, I would agree. The thing that's just just glaring at me right now, it's in both. You see how like you can only see his front delt and you can't see his side delt? Like you just the delts have just become one dimensional here. Same thing over here. You can hardly see the delt. And that's because he has his arm, this upper arm, in a neutral position. So this upper arm, this upper arm, okay, called your humerus, okay, and it internally rotates and it externally rotates. It internally rotates, it externally rotates. Okay. So in a front relaxed, if you keep it neutral right here, this is no internal, that would be internal, and there's no external, that would be external. So it's completely neutral. And when you're completely neutral, you totally lose the delt. You totally lose the tricep. Sometimes guys will even do a little external rotation and their tricep will come out underneath. And that's not a good look either. You want full internal so you can see the delt, so you can see the tricep. This is my small one. This is my better one, but I'm not in a good light. Let me show you on the ebook. It's way easier to see on the ebook. Think about that. John. So look at John's delts, front delt and side delt, bicep and tricep. This guy, even on both, you can do it on both. Just front delt. I can't see the side delt and I can't see any tricep. So he's losing this isn't a correct fraction, but he's losing like 2/3 of the mass of his arm. It's just facing in another direction. So the judges don't even see it. And that's the thing with posing. That's what your job is this guy doesn't even realize he's doing that. He doesn't even realize he's hiding his delt and his tricep. So it's your job to make sure that he understands that and to get them to crank those shoulders over. And if they don't understand how to crank the shoulders over, what pose would we teach?
The front lat spread.
That's good. Very good.
Yeah, I mean, I'll have him kind of like roll the shoulders forward, and sometimes I'll tell him like knuckles should be facing the ground. I feel like sometimes that helps get him like the rest of the way there.
All right.
All right. So just talking about some changes that he made. I mean, obviously we're going to start from the ground up. I mean, I see the feet are now staggered. They weren't even touching before. The knees, were locked out. So obviously you have to fix that. Um, it looks like he's just looking for a little bit more rotation there. If we're just talking about the upper body, I actually, to be honest, prefer the upper body on the left side. Um, but I mean, I see like the wrists are more in line, the elbows are more in line. He really just needs to drop that shoulder. And then this is actually an example of something I was talking about earlier with that figure girl, how when they're rotating, like they start to wrap that arm around the back as opposed to like leaving it facing the camera. So you can actually see the difference with these two pictures. Like, look at his left arm on the left side, like just how much more thickness that has. And then you look on the right side and you're losing a lot of it. So he needs to keep that elbow like towards the camera and like just rotate the upper body while leaving the arms in the same place. So you can obviously use like a broomstick with him, like like an easy setup for me that I'll give people. Just like set up my camera real quick. Like I'll have him face sideways and literally I'll just say, take each arm and touch the opposite walls. And then when they do that, I'm just like, all right, leave your shoulders in the same spot and then just drop the hands in place. And then you're in the upper body is exactly where it needs to be. I think that's pretty much it there.
But you did a very good job on that. Yeah, it's just about helping these guys figure out where their body is in space. And he probably thinks he looks straight as an arrow right now. And I don't know what his setup is like, but if you can, you can't get this with everyone. Sometimes you're just stuck with what you got. But ideal situation here is they have a mirror behind the phone so that they can see you on the phone, but then they can also see a reflection of themselves. So you get them in this position right here, and you go, okay, whatever your name is, I need you to look at the mirror. And so they'll turn their head toward you and they'll look at the mirror. And I'll say, make your front arm and back arm look the same. And they'll literally stand there and they'll fuck around for a little bit, but then they'll figure it out. They'll be like, oh, I just need to make these things match. And then once you're able to make them match, then you have them look straight again. And then you have them look back in the mirror and be like, oh, you shift a little bit. Okay, look straight again. And if you can just get them to get in the right pose and stay in the right pose and just chill out there for a few minutes, then they usually are able to get to it every time. Well, good job, Steve. We got two more.
All right. So just talking about the changes here. I mean, obviously we see that the legs are fully locked out on the left side. He's not really doing anything to activate the lower body, just kind of standing there. I think he did a pretty good job with this one. I mean, obviously he got some knee bend. He got what looks like for him to activate his hamstrings, especially on the right side there. Um, Seems like the glutes are about as tense as they're going to get. Um, the chest definitely brought up. He brought the head up. I mean, I think overall he did a pretty good job with this pose. Um, yeah, I mean, I think potentially you can have the shoulders like a little bit further forward to see if you can get more out of the lats, but that may be all they have.
Yeah,
So,
it's kind of the same thing.
yeah,
Just kind of play with their shoulders and try to get them in a better spot. But yeah, the lower body looks awesome. I think the thing that's really holding this back from being like a really good testimonial is just the sizing. And it's so simple to get a good picture. So, Gottlieb, when you're listening to this, you need to do a better job of lining these things up so that it doesn't look like a mini me. This just looks like his son next to him. But it could be a really good testimonial for you because you got this guy in a really good position. This is good. All right, last one.
hey, let's talk about that backdrop real quick. Like, what do you do if you get on a session and someone's got this like little multicolor background? It's kind of at certain points kind of like hard to see, certain body parts, like especially when the tattoo lines up with the black on there.
Yeah, it's not ideal, but honestly, he's in front of a window right
Yeah,
now. So a lot of people don't realize that the best lighting in their house is going to come out of that window right there. And you'll have people do check-ins like this where the window is behind them. And I don't know, you got to look around their house, you got to make them give you a little tour. But more often than not, 9 times out of 10, if there's a huge ass window in the screen, you need to totally flip the whole thing. And he needs to open that window, try to get some natural light in. I don't know. It looks like it's maybe a little bit daylight out there. I'm not sure. Maybe it's evening, who knows? But whatever light is coming in from that window is going to be better than not. So I would I would have him open that window and then like put his phone over there. If it wasn't as good and we had to deal with this, then you just have to deal with this.
yeah.
It's not that big of a deal. All right, last one.
All right.
Oops, I muted you. Sorry. Meant to mute myself.
All right. I think I'm good here. All right. So, again, talk about the changes. We'll look at the lower body first. So the feet weren't touching, just like in the other quarter turn. He got him touching here, and he did stagger him appropriately. I think it looks like he can lock out that knee just a touch more. It doesn't seem like it's fully locked out. Um, and then, it just kind of looks like he's leaning back here, like just because that left shoulder's kicked up. So I would kind of just have him relax that. Um, and I think for the most part, that would fix a lot of the stuff going on with the upper body. Um, but yeah, I mean that's pretty much it. This is definitely his better side. It seems like I would assume he's hitting his side chest from this side too, which just
Yeah.
typically is normally where the side people rotate better on. But
Would you have him hit the side chest on this side with that tattoo?
I hear that all the time. Um, I really don't think it makes that big of a difference. Like as long it depends if you can see the definition. Like his is a bad one for it, but I mean I know I hear judges all the time say that like tattoos don't matter. Now don't get me wrong. If he can hit a side chest from the other side, I certainly would prefer it.
Yeah, I talked about that today on my story. My teacup on my left side is so much better, but I have all these fucking tattoos on my arm, and it pisses me off. Like I know, yeah, a judge can tell me to my face they don't care about, doesn't care about tattoos, but it's distracting. It
Yeah.
has to be. There's no way around it. To deny that is crazy. So it is distracting. I would try to go to the other side always, but if they can't, I,
Yeah,
yeah, I
I gotta
guess
be honest
just
though.
go
I,
with it.
I I I gotta be honest though. I actually did like your teacup on your other side.
On the right.
Like the side that you don't like, I actually kind of like more.
Oh shit. Well, maybe I'm getting better at it.
I think that's what it was. I think you just been practicing a lot on that side, so maybe it just looked better to me.
Yeah, I have been practicing. It's just so much easier to sink in on the other side. It's like effortless. And when I do it on the right side, it's like it's effortful. And I
Yeah.
don't know, like the people with a really good eye can probably tell that I'm apprehensive, and I don't like that. But enough about me. The thing that straight away where my eye goes to is the knee is slightly broken. Because the knee is slightly broken, the pelvis is out of position. His pelvis is kind of tipped up. That's why he has that kind of leaning back. And he needs to lock that knee and drive that butt cheek through. So whole his whole hip needs to, I'm over exaggerating, but his whole hip needs to go boom and lock into place. I've had to give some pretty crude sexual like innuendos to really drive that home for some people that want to keep those hips like kind of weak. You got to really thrust, if you know what I mean. Um, okay, that is all I had planned. I went through Yo's, I went through Steve's. I don't know who else is on here. Does anyone else have any pictures that they need to get looked at? Jesse, no, you don't have any pictures yet, which is you're not supposed to. Um, but okay. Does anyone have any questions they need answered? I have a few announcements, but that's about it. Nothing heard, nothing heard. Okay. I'm gonna reshare my screen. We're just gonna go to the schedule real quick. So I'm gonna
Hey,
start doing it. Yes.
it doesn't really matter because we're mostly looking at your screen, but I just want to let you know I'm still pinned.
Oh, my bad. Okay, so let's look at the calendar. This week is first week of April. I don't think I actually have anybody tomorrow. I keep this open for if any of my clients, like that I'm posing, if someone books this call, I do it on Google Meet. So if you guys want to come and just stay on mute and watch me actually pose a client in real time, let me know if you want to come to that. I don't think anyone booked tomorrow. Let me see. No, no one booked tomorrow. So that's totally open. So no one will be on that. Robbie has her office hours on Saturday morning. This is Pacific time, so it's a little later for you guys on the East Coast, which I think all of you guys are. Jesse, you're Central. This is actually, though, going to change. It's going to go up 3 hours, a little bit later, because I actually want to attend. And on Saturdays at 8 a.m. Pacific time, so that's 11 a.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Central, Robbie is going to be doing a flow class. So this week or next week, it's going to be Leela Brada's 1991 routine, which she just posted on her Instagram. And basically, you show up to this, and she's going to teach us how to do that entire routine or a part of it. I think an entire routine would probably be too much. I think she's going to do just like a main part of it, and she's going to teach it to us. And so that's what we're going to do every Saturday. So something I will be attending as well. There will be content call got shifted 1 hour earlier to 10 a.m. So it's not 11 a.m. PST on Sunday anymore. But yeah, that is it. And if you guys have any questions or anything that you need answered, please reach out. You have my number. If there's anything I can do to support, let me know.
Are we adding the what you and I had talked about?
Yes, but I didn't know an exact date of when we wanted to do that. Did we decide on one? I'm sorry if I did and I spaced
Uh,
it.
we didn't actually say. I just said I can start it as soon as possible. We decided on like a day and time. We just didn't decide what week we would start that.
What did we say? Did we say Monday?
Yeah, it's Mondays.
Okay. At what time?
It's later in the day, just so like the people that work hopefully can come to it.
Okay.
Uh,
So like evening.
yeah, I think I might have even said like 8 or 8:30.
I think you said 8:30. Okay. Yeah,
Yeah, I
that
guess.
works. Yeah, we can if you're ready to start that this Monday, we can.
Yeah, I mean, I could totally start it this Monday.
Okay.
So if you
We'll start it this Monday. I'll add it to the calendar. I'll make a announcement about it in school. Um, and then I'll let everyone else know. Basically, what we're talking about, guys, those of you still listening, Steve is going to start running something very similar to what they do in Posing Academy with the drilling rounds. It's going to be a little bit different though. It's going to be um, it's going to be different than just people doing drilling, just doing rounds and rounds and rounds. It's going to be you guys actually coaching people as they are doing rounds. So it's a way for you to start to learn how to look at more than one physique at one time, how to help multiple people at once, and like really just like how to become better coaches overall. So Steve is going to be running that on Monday nights. I'll make an announcement about it, but we're pretty excited about it. And the cool thing is that you guys can invite your beta clients to come. You actually can invite whoever you want to come. Like we need bodies. We need people to come show up to this thing and want to pose. So if you guys have friends that are prepping and can't afford posing coaching, or if you're working with like if you're trying to get someone on a DM or like you're working someone in the DMs trying to get them on a call and they're giving you the runaround, just say, hey, look, just come to this thing. It's free. Just come and check it out and I'll be there. We'll run through it together, and make it like a community thing. So that is what's coming up. Lots of fun stuff. So if you guys need anything, hit me up. All right.
appreciate it.
Later.